Hi, how are you? We are so blessed today. Why? It is because two historians are in the house. Mr. Twala,
How are you, say?
I'm okay. I'm so happy to see you today.
Wow, that's great.
Yes, you know that you feel when you meet another fellow historian.
The vibe.
The vibe, the enthusiasm. Yes, that is the enthusiasm that I'm feeling today. So today, Mr. Twala, we want to talk about the directory government, but we want to focus on the political problems that were faced by the directory government. Can you take us through the political problems? What were some of the political challenges that were faced by this government?
Okay, to make things simple for everyone, I think we are going to use the chronological order. We are going to use the dates.
Yes,
so let me just help me to unpack this.
Let's unpack. Yes.
This government came into power. Let's talk about 1795. This government is in power, but there is a problem which is called the Verona Declaration.
Verona Declaration. Can you write notes? Verona Declaration.
In 1795. What's this all about? You know, this government, they are royalists. The royalists against the government. They are actually revolting. It's an uprising against the monarchists. They say no, this government does not have a room for for a monarch. It's a republican. So that's why. But however, the Verona Declaration did not get a popular support.
Okay.
So it was insignificant. But you can see from it, you can learn something from the Verona Declaration that this government is unpopular with the royalists.
Okay.
And in the same year, though this is more of an economic hardship, people in France are facing economic hardships, and this actually led to political problems. Why? Because there was actually a poor harvest in France in 1795. People, they expected relief from the directory. The directory was silent, and it was viewed as an insensitive government.
Yes.
So people then, they took on to streets.
Yes.
This is called the Vendame uprising.
People revolting.
They are revolting.
Yes.
And this revolution or this uprising was actually staged by the Paris mob. The Parisians.
Remember when the revolution started? The Paris mob.
They are the ones. Why are they revolting? They are revolting against the economic hardships, soaring of bread prices. So, in other words, what they wanted to do? They wanted to overthrow the directory.
Okay.
And there's something that we can analyze from that. Remember, this government came into power in 1795, and it is the same year that the people, they want to overthrow it. What can you say about that?
So you can see that this government from the start, it was not popular, it was unpopular. That is why some scholars, they say that the directory government, it was born dead. So we've talked about uprising. These people revolt.
The first year it came to power. And another thing, so during the Vendamia, this one, fellow learners, it was a serious problem facing the directory. It was more like another revolution
taking place.
But take note of this guy. This guy was a director called Barras. Remember, in our previous lesson, we discussed about directors. Barras had to call a young man called Napoleon. It was Napoleon who managed to stop, to normalize, to stabilize the country again. By what? By scattering.
Did you hear what Mr. Tola said? To stop, to normal, historicizing. Yes.
It was Napoleon. It was Napoleon who scattered the rioters, and he created order and stability again in France.
Good. Okay.
Remember, listen, there's something important that allow me to discuss.
Explain
it. Let me unpick this.
Unpick.
Remember, there were senior generals that the directors, they could have identified.
Yes.
But they are identifying a young soldier by the name Napoleon Bonaparte. And when Napoleon was sent to scatter the rioters, he managed to do exactly. And from that day, he got admiration. He was admired by the directors.
Yes.
And this actually contributed to the rise of Napoleon.
So, Mr. Twala now is talking about the uprisings, the coming of Napo, and eventually now leading Napoleon to be popular. Then another important factor now, a factor that led to the rise of Napoleon, the thwarting, the stopping of the uprising that he did here.
Yeah, so maybe just one or two things before we go to the next thing. So from that, their lessons, I think the Vendôme uprising was also known as the what? As the grape shoot. It was known as the grape shoot because Napoleon used something which was called the what? The grape shoot to scatter the rioters.
Yes.
So what are the implications of the Vendôme to the rise of Napoleon? So you take some of the points here when you're writing about the rise of Napoleon. Number one, Napoleon proved to be a brilliant soldier. Remember, the people of France, they are looking for peace. They are looking for stability, and to them, Napoleon proved that is a man that can bring order and stability again in France. So his rise was now a matter of time. Number two, he got support from the police. Remember, he saved the directors.
Yes.
The duty or the job of the directors was under threat. But Napoleon, he saved what?
The directors.
The directors. And it was through the success in the Vendôme that made Napoleon to be given foreign assignments later. The Italian campaign and the Egyptian campaign. Because they saw him doing a great job during the Vendôme. One of the things that played a great part to his rise is the Italian campaign. And a last thing, it was from the Vendôme that Napoleon was appointed to become the army commander of the garrison.
Ah, lovely. So you have heard the challenges, political challenges that the Directory faced, how Napoleon managed to maneuver those challenges and eventually contributing to his rise. So, Mr. Twala, what about the other causes, political causes?
So,
or political
so let's
problems?
go. Like I said, we are dealing with 1795.
Yes,
so we covered the Verona Declaration, we covered the Vendôme uprising. And maybe you are sitting there, you don't understand what is Vendôme. Vendôme simply means 5 October. It was in October, 5 October uprising. All right, let me take you to 1796.
We are now on 1796, yes.
There is a guy, okay, and this guy was a journalist. And this guy was a newspaper editor. And his name was called Bebefo.
Oh, Bebe, Blazo, Bebefo. Tell us more about Bebefo.
Bebefo, that's why if these learners are reading doc, they will read about the Bebefo conspiracy.
Yes.
What does that mean in simple terms? It means the Bebefo uprising. Remember, I said something. This guy is an art student because he's a journalist, he's an editor. So he's so critical. He is actually criticizing the government. That this government is the government of the rich. Why? If you let me take you back. If you still remember about the qualifications for you to be a director, you're supposed to pay a certain amount of tax. At the same time, you're supposed to be a property owner. Meaning that this is a government that is aligned to the bourgeoisie,
to the rich people.
And talk of equality. Do you think there is equality in such a government?
No.
So Bebefo is actually criticizing that, and he is joined by very radical people called the Jacobins.
The radical people, the Jacobins.
And he is forming a political party. And the name of the party, though it was in French, but in English it means that the party of equals.
So he had a party which was called the party of equals.
So what was there? Why the uprising? Why the conspiracy? They are saying that there is a wide gap between the poor and the rich. So they want to close that gap. So by so doing, they are forming a conspiracy. Actually, they want to overthrow the government. So this government, the people wanted to overthrow it in 1795, and another uprising in 1796.
It was terrible.
So this government survived so many plots.
Yes.
Why? Because again, they have to call the army to crush the PPF uprising. So in this case, we can also link Napoleon Bonaparte. One of the lessons, this government now, the reason why it's surviving is because of Napoleon. Another thing, PPF was executed. So this government didn't want any opposition. But do you think it was following the principles of the revolution?
No.
The government is actually departed again from the revolution. Why? Because we are saying that the days of killing people is over. They ended, but they are now killing PPF.
So that led Blazo Bebe to be popular. He became a martyr. Why? It is because when the directorate came, no killings, no guillotine, no butchering, no executing. But check what? Bebe come here, supporters come here, Rere comes on, they were executed. So it led Bebe to be popular. He became martyr. Continue, Mr. Twala.
Alright, another thing, I'll take you through, now we are done with the 96, there was PPF uprising. So PPF is the name of a person who was a journalist, he criticized the government, but he suffered for that, he was killed for that. But it shows that the government was unpopular. Another thing, remember, maybe I think it's very important to master this. Remember that when we started this topic, Dr. Musu, we said that during the directory, there were elections year after year. Elections were held annually. So in 1797 and 1798, there were disputed elections.
Yes.
So in other words, these elections were known as coup d'etat. There's first one, the coup d'etat of Fratito, and there was also coup d'etat of Laurel and the coup d'etat of Fratito.
So take note of that. Coup d'etat of Fratito and coup d'etat of Laurel.
I'll start with the coup d'etat of Laurel. A coup, first of all, I think it's important for me to explain a coup.
What is a coup, Mr.
A coup is to take power by force. For example, what happened during the coup d'etat of Laurel, the people of France, they voted for the Jacobins. They were no longer voting for what? For the
territory.
So we realized that in the chambers, the Jacobins after the elections were the one that were dominating the chambers. Then the directors were not happy about the Jacobins dominating the upper and the lower chambers. So they had to call for Napoleon so that they can dissolve, so that they can actually nullify the results of the elections. Meaning now, instead of them surviving through elections, they were surviving through coup d'etats, and they were having a hand from the army. So they were using Napoleon to what? To continue in power. Because people were no longer voting for them. Let's talk of the coup d'etat of Fratito. The coup d'etat of Fratito, the people, they went actually to the extent of even voting for the royalists. Imagine. In other words, people, they were in a position to say, we don't even care even if the ancient regime comes back. We don't care. In other words, people, when they were voting for the royalists, remember the royalists are the supporters of the monarch. So we see that the elections the chambers were now dominated by the royalists after the elections. Then they declare a coup d'etat of Fratito. So it shows that this government was not popular.
It was in shambles, really. You can see when they came to power, it was threats, uprising, coup d'etats against them.
So in the coup d'etat of Laurel, they also called Napoleon to nullify.
So Napoleon was their savior.
Napoleon, they over-relied on Napoleon Bonaparte. And then lastly, we are going to talk about one of the greatest coup d'etat, the one that inspires me the most.
Tell us about that one.
This one is in the last year of 1799, the coup d'etat of Brumaire.
And that coup d'etat of Brumaire, it usually comes. So tell us, Mr. Twala, so that students can understand about this coup d'etat of
Brumaire. It's Brumaire means it was in November.
It was November.
So this was a carefully planned. And who carefully planned this system? It was Napoleon himself.
The man himself. Yes.
After realizing that the directory is weak, so he decided to overthrow the directory, and he got help to do that from the army. Remember this guy, maybe if you still let us connect things very well.
Yes.
Remember that at the Vendame uprising, he was appointed to be the commander-in-chief of the army.
Yes.
Meaning every time when they call the army, he is the general.
Yes.
So during the coup d'etat of Brumaire, Napoleon, he got support from the army, and he took power from the, or he seized power from the what? From the directory.
Okay.
That is what is known as the coup d'etat of what? Brumaire. And this is the coup that led to the rise of Napoleon. So on next audio, I think we're going to talk about the factors that led to the rise of Napoleon and the foreign policy of the directory.
Lovely. So Mr. Twala, he has taken us through the political challenges that were faced by the directory from 1795 up to the time when Napoleon came to power. Anything else that you want to add?
So basically, before we conclude our lesson, I know we are almost about to conclude our lesson. One of the things, some of the weaknesses that we can see from the political landscape of France during the directory is that number one, they relied
on Napoleon.
And this government, it survived on disputed elections. You give reference to the coup d'etat of Laurel and coup d'etat of Fratido. This proves that the government was unpopular. Another thing that we can talk about, there were series of plots to overthrow the serious plots such as the Vendame uprising and the Bebefu plot.
Good. Thank you so much, Mr. Twala. Possibly we can as well add about some of the political challenges that they also faced. We can also talk about press censorship. The newspapers, again, they were censored. Page 1, directory. Page 2, directory. Sports page, directory. So you can as well talk about that. You can as well talk about unfair system of justice. The system of justice, it was not fair. It only favored the bourgeoisie, those were wealthy. That again, it became also a problem to them. Then also talk about the issue of freedom of expression. People were not free to express themselves. They lived in what? In a fear. Why? Because the system of justice only favored those who were in authority. So we are saying that this government, according to Mr. Twala, it faced so many problems, and it explains why it eventually collapsed in 1799. So that is what we have on the political problems that were faced by the directory. Thank you so much.